Well, around that on there says 1905. I think Italian immigrants were coming maybe 20 years before that. I don't know, like, and I don't want to like, I'm not very good with dates, but and a lot of them were bakers, so they were finding bakeries that were already existed, or they were building bakeries. I think they were maybe had Dutch people building ovens for them, and they were just started to bring pizza in, and they were from the area around Naples.
Yep.
Now, pizza in Italy wasn't like it was now. It wasn't everywhere. It was only in that region. People in Milan didn't know what pizza was around that time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it came to America before it went to the rest of Italy.
What's the immigrants of going over?
So I understand it.
Yeah. I just find it fucking interesting. Naples, the Neapolitan pizza.
Yeah.
That was happening in Naples,
in a very
Italy.
small area, and then it was also,
and it went to New York before.
Before it went to the rest of Rome and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was like a peasant dish in Naples that the bakers started doing it with scraps of dough or something like that. Maybe they were using it to test the oven out, and then we can make it into a pizza, and then later on they started adding tomatoes, mozzarella, basil, and stuff like that. Maybe it was just the flatbread first, but and that was like Queen Margherita or whatever. They made that for her, but then by the time it came to America, it was in the East Coast, so it was in like places like New Haven and New York, and it was only within the Italian community there, so no one else would go there. So like I don't know, but America has this way of having great immigration stories and people loving really getting involved. Like when I went, if in New York, if you go to like Greenpoint, for instance, you'll walk past loads of Polish places. You go in there, you get pierogies, and they're amazing. And people, YouTubers are going there, Instagrammers and stuff like that, and it's really like championed. If there was I can count maybe 2 Polish restaurants I've seen in England. People probably walk past them. Why don't people? I think soon or later people will pick up on things like that. People here, it's like Indian food, Chinese food's really popular. Like later on, things like Vietnamese and stuff like that. But I don't know, we're not as.
Yeah, I think London's pretty good in the grand scheme of things, though. I mean, I did a bit of work with an Irish company. There's no fucking curry houses in Ireland.
Is there not?
How crazy is that? They've got loads of Chinese.
They have loads of Chinese. And they have spice bags and all that.
Yeah. So it's like, mate, there's no curry house. Well, there is it's not like like now we've got your local curry house.
I imagine in the cities, like the cosmopolitan places.
Yeah, no, but mate, I was in Dublin. I was in Dublin,
really?
And I was like, mate, is there a good curry house around here? He was like, mate, there's not really a curry house.
That's crazy.
I was like, this is fun. And they're like big. They're chefs. They used to. They had a sick restaurant, like a pop-up restaurant in Ireland. They both worked in restaurants in Ireland. Katie and Jasper, they're good mates of mine. But I still think you're right. Like London is like, because I remember, so like Sri Lankan food's now massive. I remember 10 years ago it was like when Hoppers came on the scene. People were like, what the fuck's that? Even Vietnamese people like that was new, and then I think you get these new ideas. I think
there was
London
a cluster around Kingsdown Road and all that,
and then it comes up, and people become more. Obsessed with the food, and even now I think with yourself and Crisp, you're reinventing pizza here. You're at all those stories that you've done that we've talked about in New York and stuff. You'll bring them here, and you're giving it a whole pizza's now becoming fucking through you two guys. It's getting a whole new lease of life.
I guess it's there's like a new wave of pizza now. I guess because like. We had Neapolitan pizza here that was like, Franco Manca came, and then there was, Pizza Pilgrims and stuff like that. And there was a few doing New York pizza, but I don't think they were doing it very well. Yeah. But then again, I wouldn't say that mine is New York pizza now, and I wouldn't say Crisp is New York pizza either. His is very unique. But it's definitely influenced by that, because like we're friends, and like we were like during lockdown, we were both talking about what we're going to do and this and that. And, I know New York is the influence, and it is for me, but it comes, we're closer to the source of Italy. We've got the ingredients a lot closer, so we're using like really good top quality ingredients. Where if you go to New York, for instance, you'll see a pizzeria that'll have those aluminium pans stacked up. They usually keep the dough in the fridge. There's a new wave of places in New York that are doing it more like what we're doing. You know, if you see a pizzeria that's got dough trays and they're dotted out like a Neapolitan, but they're doing a New York pizza, you can normally tell that it's going to be really good because they're doing something.
So what's the tray?
So if you go to a Neapolitan pizzeria, they have like trays that are like rectangles and they've got all the dough balls in them.
Yep.
Okay, that's a Neapolitan like way of making pizza. In New York, they have these aluminium pots where they keep one dough ball in them.
Okay, yeah.
But if you see one in New York that's got the trays, it usually, to me, is a sign that their pizza is maybe a hybrid. It's either a new type of pizza, like L'Industrie, Lucia, Mama's too, they're all using the trays, or it's one of the old ones. So like if you go to New Haven, go to Frank Pepe's, Sally's, or even Lombardi's and stuff like that, they're using the old trays as well. So the ones that are using the metal tins are the ones that are in between. They're like the 1970s. They're like the classic New York slice. They're more like the utility style pizza. For me, if you see those trays, it's a sign.
They know what they're on about.
It might be really. It's probably better.
How's your pizza? Because I believe like everyone's got an inspiration, right? So like everyone fucking. David Bowie's got a quote of which is the only art I'll ever steal is the only art I'll ever study is the art I can steal from. And obviously, he's the most original guy around.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So he's basically saying like he goes, you know, he was watching loads of different music and stuff. You put it all together, bang, 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 and then that's Vincenzo's. Do you know what I mean? So like, what's the inspirations you took from all the different restaurants in your time in America? But then how did you add the Tom piece of de resistance?
Well, I guess. Yeah, my first inspiration was seeing these, you know, the New York places, the family-run New York slice shops.
Yeah.
And
how long ago was this? When did you get into pizza?
Probably 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I started going over there with my girlfriend who works over there a lot. So I was just jumping on trips with her and stuff like that. And I was going to these places, and then I found out about the old ones, the old coal oven places, the really old, the original. They call it the original. I think it's the original 5 in New York. They got Patsy's, they got Lombardi's, Totonno's, John's of Bleecker, and maybe Grimaldi's, and these are all like the old school coal oven ones that use the pizza in the trays, like I said, the dough balls in the trays and stuff like that. And I found those ones even more interesting. Okay, and what I found really interesting is that they're the first generation of Italian immigrants. So what they're making is they're trying to recreate what they were doing at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so that pizza, I suspect at that time, was really good quality, better quality than what the ones in the 70s were, maybe more rustic, and I think it got lost along the way as like mass production came along and stuff like that. And then with me, my inspiration is those old places. Yeah. Okay. But I think by default, now that I have these good ingredients available to me, and I'm using, them sort of trays, I'm cooking in a higher temperature, I feel like my pizza perhaps is like that pizza. Well, I imagine it's like that, even though I don't know. I haven't got a time machine.
Yeah, well, that's what you said,
and
mate.
that's my inspiration. Is like in my head to think about what the pizza was like back then. What was it like? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
so there's some pictures, but that's my inspiration. If that makes sense. Yeah. My inspiration is like a nostalgia, a maybe misplaced nostalgia that I'm imagining in my head.